Hey everyone, it's Terry Vanover. We're trying something new, so I appreciate your patience as we try to work out some of the kinks with our Zoom/Facebook Live. We are doing the best we can. Listen, if you can't jump on, if you're having issues, please message Candace Thomas. She'll pop you in. We're trying to figure out how to make this more interactive for you. We were hoping to get you all on in the Zoom room with me so we could have like some one-on-one coaching together and we could be a little more interactive. It's not quite working out the way we planned, but we're trying our best. So hopefully next week you can join me a little bit early and we'll work through this. So I'm going to jump right in because there's been some really great questions. One of the questions I got was, what do I tell my kids, right? What do I tell my kids about divorce? So, here's some tips for if you've got to tell your kids. Now, of course, you need to take into consideration their ages, and everything needs to be age appropriate language, developmentally appropriate, on an as to need no basis too, because you don't want to overwhelm your kids with too much information. But you want to be open and honest with them. You don't want to lie to your children. That's one of the worst things you can do in this situation. And listen, they're smart. They already know what's going on. They already suspect mommy and daddy aren't getting along, or your partner isn't happy. Those types of things. So the first thing is, if you can sit down together as a couple, if it's doable, you want to try to do it together, so that way there's no he said, she said, or she said, that kind of thing. You want to try to sit down together, and even if I think even if one person's just present and maybe is struggling to say something, at least you're together as a team. At least visually you're there together. And then you want to plan out what you want to say. Okay, talk to your ex about what it is you guys want to convey to the children. I always tell my clients, whenever you're having difficult conversations, set an intention. It helps in these situations about how you're moving forward. If you have an intention, what's your goal in this conversation? What do you hope the outcome will be, right? And so use non-blaming language. It's very, very important that, you don't say, mommy doesn't love daddy anymore, or daddy decided to go with another woman. And that's not the time nor the place. It's just simply to say, we've decided that we can't live together anymore. And we still love you. And this doesn't change how we love you, but it may not be healthy for us to be together. And maybe acknowledge if things have been rough lately, we haven't been getting along, and we feel like this would be best for our family, be best for you guys. However you want to phrase that in a non-blaming way, and explain why and the outcome. We want you guys to be happy. We want to provide a loving, happy household, and with no fighting. Explain the outcome of why you're doing this. And you want to address the changes and be honest about the changes. Daddy is getting a house nearby, or whatever the changes might be. We in the future, if it is clear, you won't tell them too far in advance, because that can cause a lot of worry. But if there's a sale of the home, right now we're going to stay here, but in the future we're looking for a different home in the same school district, those types of things. So tell them the changes that they might experience, if any, other than like a parent leaving. You want to tell them the changes and what's going to stay the same, and that staying the same is always going to be mommy and daddy both love you, and reassure them that you still love them. It's not their fault. Sometimes this happens with grown-ups, like those types of things. Be reassuring. It should be a comforting conversation. and validate whatever feelings come up for them. They might experience anger, they might experience sadness, they might experience relief, they might not experience much of anything. And so it's okay however they feel. We don't want to invalidate their feelings or tell them they should feel this way or shouldn't feel that way, right? We want to be like open and allowing of whatever feelings come up and whatever questions come up. And they may not have any questions now, but let them know you may not have any questions now, but in the future, if you have questions, feel free to come to us where we want to answer your questions. And so you want to approach that topic in a loving, supportive way, you know? And again, it's all about the children, putting the children first, never disparaging one parent over the other, even if the parent has done, you know, heinous things, it's still their parent, right? They still love daddy, they still love mommy. So you never ever want to disparage that, because if you're disparaging the other parent, you're disparaging them because they're a part of that parent. So if you feel like you might say the wrong thing, this is why it's important to plan out what you're going to say beforehand. So, you know, I'm Terry Vanover, and if you don't know who I am, I'm a divorce strategist, and I help you come through divorce without being legally, financially, and emotionally devastated. But just as importantly, I help you to heal from unhealthy relationships so that you can move forward in your life confidently and transition into that next chapter. And so hopefully you can create a happy, healthy, new relationship. So, got a couple more questions here. So if you're watching and you want to post some more questions, I'm happy to answer them here in our group. Someone asked about rebounds. Are rebounds okay? Yeah, I do think they're okay. I do think they're okay. It's okay to go out. And in fact, I kind of tell my clients, like, look at the dating, look at going out and dating as a way to learn about yourself. This is not the time to grill or interview your potential marital partner. Like, take some time and go out there and use this as an opportunity to learn about yourself. You know, I recently discovered that I believe it's John Gottman. He's the founder of the Gottman Institute. I recently discovered he's divorced. I was like, oh my God, he's the guru of marriages, y'all. He trains coaches and therapists and couples therapists, and he does so much research. He and his wife so much research about marriage, and it's just they're just really well thought of. And you know, I found out he was divorced, and he went out on his discovery after his divorce. He said, "I'm gonna date as many women as I possibly can." And it's kind of a funny story because he met his wife after like the 61st date or the 65th date, something like that. And together, the two of them, they've been together for years and years and years, decades, I think, and they founded the Gottman Institute. I think the lesson in that, like, was just he was just so open and open to new experiences and open to new people, and it was a learning journey for him. And you know, he met her, and you know, they said like the reason he approached her was because like she was just in a coffee shop and he was doing this dating game. I don't want to call it a game, but like a dating dare where I'm going to date as many women as possible. And he saw her, he's like, oh, she's attractive. You know, ask her out. Like, and lo and behold, it was kismet, and they just, you know, found each other, and it was attraction. And he says it's because he learned about himself through dating other women, what his likes and dislikes and things like that were. So, you know, whew, the dating scene, it's a new world now, right? If it was today, he'd be on those dating apps. So it is a new world, you know. So someone had asked about a toxic relationship, and he had made it seem as though it was pretty one-sided. You know, again, I totally understand a relationship takes two. It takes two to work, it takes two to fail. But in this case, it just seemed like his partner was not willing to give in. There was no, he kept describing her as stubborn. She's not willing to change. Um, they'd had some infertility issues. So it was a very complex relationship. And, he's just questioning, when is it time to walk away? And I think this is a really, really it's a difficult decision. I don't think anyone makes the decision to divorce lightly, right? Because it's so impactful in so many ways. But I'll tell you this, if the price of staying is costing you your dignity, if it's costing you self-respect, if it's costing your mental health, if it's costing you your physical health, I mean, we all know that if you've been in toxic or abusive or manipulative relationships, you pay a price. Your body reacts. You become anxious. You start to second guess yourself. You gain weight or you lose weight or you start to become sick. I mean, we have scientific evidence that says, toxic relationships, unhealthy relationships take a toll on you physically. So it's not, if a relationship is costing you that, it's better for you to leave, because on the other side of fear is freedom. Right? You might be afraid to leave because you don't know what the future is going to look like. You don't know if you'll find anyone else. But if you are staying in a relationship, hoping that it will change, even though you've got years and years and years of evidence that this person is not going to change, that's your evidence, right? I think that the biggest mistake people make in dating, and this is a dating advice too, in dating and in marriages is when people don't judge people by their actions, don't judge people by their words, judge people by their actions. If they're saying one thing and doing the other, and that's a dating tip for you, right? Like, look for what the person says and versus what they do. And so that's really a thing, in the dating thing. But even in marriage, if you've said, I need this, and it's years and years and years of not getting your needs met, that's unhealthy. You may even be enabling the person to continue their unhealthy behaviors, And so, if the price of staying is costing you your dignity, your self-respect, your mental health, your physical health, your kids' mental health, not worth it. Totally not worth it. If the pain of staying in the relationship is greater than the pain of leaving the relationship, it's time to go, right? You shouldn't have to sacrifice any of yourself to be in a relationship. Now, I talk about negotiation, like, you should negotiate in a relationship. I believe in that, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice yourself to be in a relationship to make someone else happy. That is unhealthy. And the last question, unless anyone else has some questions for me, is about how much sex is normal in a marriage. Again, I have learned a lot. You hear me talk about the Gottman Institute, and I write a lot of articles about, marriages, because I'm telling you, doing this divorce work, I have learned a lot about marriage, and I've had to do a lot of research in the marriage and couples arena to help my divorced people go through divorce so that they can create healthy relationships. So it is all interrelated. And getting back to that toxic relationship and knowing whether it's time to leave. I had a client come to me one time because she had an autoimmune disease, and what she started to recognize is she'd get into these toxic relationships. I mean, she wasn't married. She'd often get engaged, but realize, and again, I believe our body holds this stuff, and our body will tell us when something's not right if we listen to it. And this was a matter of life and death for her, because she had to break the cycle. That's why she started working with me. It's like, this is a matter of life and death. I have an autoimmune disease, and these relationships are taking their physical toll on me. And so, it's just amazing to see, her go from, being almost disabled to like happy and healthy and letting go of all the, childhood issues that hadn't been resolved, that they were just presenting themselves in her intimate relationships. Because I believe we choose our intimate relationships trying to heal what was not okay in our parental relationships. There's something that we're looking for. If we're abandoned, we choose a partner out of that abandonment. If we were given the message of like unworthiness, we try to find a partner to heal that wounded little child within us. So it's real important that you heal yourself of that, because you will just choose a partner from that wounded place over that, whole grown-up self. Been there, done that. I've done it, so I know and I understand. And so having the right tools, having the right exercises to heal that is really, really vital. It doesn't have to, you don't have to spend years and years and years, going through relationship after relationship and, putting your health at risk. It's actually, it's really, there's some healing exercises and some healing things that within just a few short months, you can overcome it. It's totally possible. So someone had asked about sex and marriage. What is a normal amount of sex in marriage? So this goes right along with like what I was saying before. If you are sacrificing a whole part of yourself where like this person will never ever touch you and never ever, I've seen that actually, never ever have sex with you, you're sacrificing a part of yourself to be in that marriage. You really need to question what you're doing. If you are negotiating, because that's the thing that people don't understand. Look, marriage is not like you're not going to be 100% compatible. The best relationships are about 80% compatibility. So if you find a partner, there's going to be some like, parts of the relationship where you're not going to align up 100%. So the key is clarifying your boundaries, clarifying your expectations, and communicating those in a way that's healthy and constructive, right? So when it comes to sex, just like anything, it's a negotiation. And so you have to say, these are my needs, and the other partner has to be willing to negotiate to reach those needs, right? And so it's all a negotiation. One partner might want it twice a week, another partner only twice a month. So the key is how do you meet somewhere in the middle, right? And so that both of you are happy and getting your needs met. So you have to negotiate that. You have to communicate that. You have to communicate that in a way that's healthy and constructive. And it's really, really vital that you're not looking through a lens of that wounded child, like I was saying before, because what often happens is people confuse needs with like underlying wounds that they're trying to get addressed. For example, I've seen people that are in a relationship, and this one client, he was looking for time with his partner. And the thing was like, it was just too much. She didn't have space. There weren't any boundaries. He was kind of intruding on her boundaries because of his need to get time with her. And that was that wounded little boy that was looking for validation and needed like constant attention. Guess what? He was abandoned by his mother. So there he was trying to like get his partner. Now his partner doesn't know this, and he's not even aware of it because it's an unconscious needs. He just thinks like, gee, why does she have to go have girls' night out with her girlfriends? I need her here with me, and that's what the consciousness is saying. But unconsciously is this deep wounded little self that just needs her to like comfort him and be with him. So you have to just check yourself, where is this coming from? Is this coming from like a deep seated place to be like validated and feel worthy and to feel safe and to feel, oh, I need this and I can't, I feel I feel like not whole if I don't get it, versus like, hey, can we, have a date night together and spend some time together? That's a whole different thing, because everybody needs space, everybody needs boundaries, everybody needs time away from the other partner so that they can bring their best self to the relationship. So you always have to check yourself, like, where am I? Where is this need coming from? Is this, and again, so if you're negotiating the sex, right? And you feel like you're being rejected, and that rejection is leading to like deep seated like roots of hurt and pain and rejection, chances are you've got some rejection and abandonment issues that you haven't addressed, and they're manifesting in your adult relationship with your partner. And that partner has a right to say, again, have boundaries of like, hey, I only want sex like, once a week or whatever. And you guys have to negotiate that. And if in the negotiation some deep seated like stuff is coming up for you, and it's, you're not able to address that, it might be time to seek some help. And if you notice that these issues come up over and over and over in your relationships, it's definitely time to get help. That was definitely what I see with my clients. They see, oh snap, I'm in another relationship where I'm, feel like I'm being manipulated, or I feel like I'm being taken advantage of again. Like, and I thought this was different this time. And so if you're seeing those patterns over and over and over, it is really important that you handle it and you get to the root of it, because otherwise it's just going to keep showing up. I believe the universe sends us messengers of places that we need to heal. Every time you get triggered or every time something shows up for you, it is an opportunity for growth, and it's an opportunity to heal. So usually the universe, like, these are big opportunities for growth and healing. So if you are struggling with boundaries, if you are struggling with relationships where you feel like you're, with partners who aren't meeting your needs, I'd love to talk with you, and we can talk about like what is the underlying issue that's causing these to show up for you. So reach out to me. Y'all know where to find me on Facebook, and send me a message. Um, Otherwise, I will see you in the group, and hopefully next time we can make this, the whole goal of this was to try to make it y'all into the chat room with me so we could have a dialogue and we could chat and do some coaching one-on-one together. So hopefully we'll work it out next time. But in the meantime, we can catch the replay in the group, or you can catch me on YouTube. I look forward to seeing you. All right, I will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.